Okay, so A Cursed Man. This is the new film from Liam Le Guillou. He wrote, directed, he produces it. It's executive produced by him as well. Michael Stephen Robinson's. With location production from Rohit Gandhi and Alejandro Solaluna, and Nigel Levy is a consulting producer. Cinematography was handled by Blake Horn. Liam also edits the piece. Okay, so the cast. But this thing will be a bit harder because it's not listed, so I'm having to take it out the video itself. All right, let me get rid of that. So we have Carrie Wolf, Griffin Said, Lilith Dorsey, Divine Prince Ty Emeka, Sen Eliza, Dean Radin, PhD, Rohit Gandhi, Tantric Bab Haneshawana, Tantric Tara Baba, Hermano Juan, Dr. Michel D'Amico, John J. Kruth, who else is there? There's Mark Miller, Rebecca Wright Hong, Scarlett Said, Kevin Mosgrip, Linda Snovak, Michael McLean, Elizabeth Konu, Kevin Patterson, Sherry Patterson, Jamie Nimkos, and yeah. So that is a coven that we see. Okay, so that, yeah, it looks like that's the main lot of people in it. The gist of the whole thing is documentary filmmaker Liam Le Guillou enters the world of witchcraft and the occult, searching for an answer to the question, is magic real? Seeking out some of the world's most powerful dark magic practitioners, Le Guillou asks them to put a curse on him. The consequences of this request force him to question the nature of reality and belief in this dangerous, never before seen dark social experiment. So yes, that is it. Now, when this came to me, right, I thought that it was a feature film, and I thought it was a horror, right? A cursed man. That's what I thought it was. So when I open it up and it's like playing like a doc, I'm like, yo, wait, what is this? And yeah, we hear Liam talk about, this idea he's had from all his years in making documentaries. That he's gone all around the world and there's been this undercurrent of belief in magic. And so he wants to know, is it actually real? Right? And his idea was the only way he'd know it's real if he had someone place a curse on him. Because if it was something good, how would he know? Which, I don't know, as a premise, that mindset doesn't make any sort of sense, right? Because it's about the ask, you know what I mean? If you want something good, then you'd ask for something specific, right? And if that comes true, then you might go, okay, boom. You know what I mean? Like that's the thing. It's all about parameters. But this really does come off as just some entitled bullshit, right? Like crazy things white people do. You know what I mean? And I should, phrase that as crazy white people that are mad comfortable in life, right? So they're just looking for, you know, adventure, right? Looking for something that could be a little bit crazy. So they can be like, oh, we tried this. You know what I mean? It makes no sense whatsoever. And so we see Liam, you know, go around and talk. Like he's married, right? He tells us at the beginning he's married. He's got 2 cats. He's very happy. And it's weird because we have him talk to his wife several times throughout the film. And I don't know, those conversations do come across staged. But, when you're filming and it's just like maybe the first cut doesn't work or the lighting's off, so you have to do it again. So, these things can be definitely tricky, but it's odd because he's telling her, oh yeah, I'm going to do this, but we don't really get a sense of him thinking about the impact on those around him if he does it, right? Which is a little weird. I think another thing is we don't get any benchmarks in place. Like if you're going to do this, you kind of have to break it all down and be like, okay, so I've never had a night, I've never suffered from nightmares. I get, 8 hours sleep every night, right? I weigh this, had, health checks done and everything is good. So then, right, you can go, okay, all of these things were good. Like financially, he's set. Work keeps them flowing in. There's no issues on that front. Relationship is good. You know what I mean? Just all of these things. So then, if anything adverse happens, you can go, oh, yeah. But towards the end, he talks about this health thing. But the only problem with the health thing is he's just like, oh, well, yes, because there's a history in the family. Right? So if there's a history in the family of a thing, it doesn't, because it's the crazy way all of this works, right? It doesn't always mean it's passed down to the next person. Right? It can jump a generation. It can jump several. And then suddenly it comes again. Right? But if there's a history of a thing, then it's not out of the blue that you might be affected by it. So that's not really a indication of a curse, But yeah, that's the only thing on that front that kind of seems to be there. But and it's funny because the first conversation he has with this coven in LA, and they're like, well, we can do it, but it kind of all depends on what you want done, because it could impact how easy it is to remove the thing. Right. So they talk about that straight away, early. And then later in the film, he's like, so now this has happened. Yeah, I've got to work out how to get it removed. And you're just like, okay, Well, you put that in place before you do anything. You know what I mean? Like you go, okay, so for whatever reason, I'm looking to get curses put on me. How do I get them lifted? Who do I have to go to? How long will it take? What is needed? So you have all of those things, right? That's what, and it doesn't, I mean, I say it doesn't seem like that was done just because of the way this is filmed. That's like, now, maybe that was done and he's like, for dramatic effect, let's do it like this, but I kind of feel you document every single thing, all the things you're doing, like there's a bit where he has an accident after getting these curses done, and he's just like, oh my god, this is an indication of, and it's just like, hold on a second. Consider what you're doing right now. Like, people have accidents doing that thing all the time, right? I definitely have had a ton. So that is not an indication of a curse working. You know what I mean? You're just like, wait, what's this motherfucker talking about, man? What are we saying? It's it's like we hear from a lot of different people, right? A lot of different people. There's practitioners in like New Orleans, LA. We go to India. We go to Mexico. We're all around the place looking at these different kind of concepts and beliefs. And that's it's interesting, right? The way this is put together is definitely interesting. It's hard to, I don't know, it's hard to really break it down as if it is something that actually does what it says on the tin, because of the limited information given, right? Because it's just like, oh, I'm going to see this person and they do curses, but we don't really know how many curses has this person done. Are they really curses? You know what I mean? We don't know any of that. So everything is just taking people's words for this stuff. Like, he goes to a person in India and they're like, he goes to this place that's meant to be renowned, the home place in India for black magic. And there's one person who is willing to do this thing, put a curse on him. But everyone's just like, we don't really know anything about this guy. It could be dangerous. He could kill you. Right? And he's just like, I'm going to have to think about it because I don't want to put anyone's life in danger. And you're just like, shut up, motherfucker. You're going. Right? Obviously, you're going. But there's things you could do to mitigate the situation. Like, people going armed, have a gun with you. You know what I mean? Like, there's things that you could do, but we don't get told any of this stuff. So that's what makes it difficult, because we're not being shown a full hand, right? It is smoke and mirrors, kind of, in a way. We're being told something and that's it. But yeah, it's that full, we get this whole thing. Like, now, surprisingly, it only seems to be 6 months, which, again, not a crazy long time, right? So it's just like to be, and that's getting it put on and then removed. So I don't know how long exactly he had it on him for. But yeah, 6 months is not a long time, right? I think if you tried to do a research paper, people would throw that out. They'd just be like, wait, what? You can't get good data from that? What are you talking about? You know? But yeah, I don't know. Like they talked to some scientists. We don't know what level of science they are, like how well regarded in the field. You know, do people look at these people as being kooks? We don't know any of that. You know, we just saw, oh, these scientists, they work at this institute, right? So, yes. It's, it's, as I say, it's an interesting one, right? A Cursed Man is an interesting one. And I think the way you interact with it will probably depend on how open you are to the notion of, you know what I mean? Like, do you believe in this? And how much? Right? So that is the big thing, right? If you really believe in magic and curses and all of that kind of stuff, then I think you are going to be more open to what Liam is doing. If you don't believe, you're gonna be skeptical. You're gonna, ask certain questions and be like, wait, why don't we hear about this? Why don't they mention that? Blah, 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 blah. So it's just one of those ones. But it's there, people. It's gonna be dropping on Tuesday, the 25th of March, right? On all your favorite platforms. So yeah, if you want to delve into things, yeah, this could be for you. Oh, I nearly forgot too. We do have a director's statement, right, from Liam. And it says, I once asked a friend who is a staunch non-believer, is anything spiritual, if they would allow someone to put a curse on them to test their belief. The answer was a resounding hell no. And this was the same response I got over and over again when I floated the idea to both believers and non-believers of the supernatural. I was fascinated by the idea and the thought as something of an open-minded skeptic. What's the worst that can happen? At the time, I had no idea just how deep I would go and how I'd find myself not only witnessing often secret magical rituals, but becoming the target of dark magical practices. There were two main challenges of making a film like this. The first was gaining access to open very secretive magical groups and practitioners who are often perceived negatively through films and media. The second challenge was actually finding someone who would be willing to put a curse on me. Overwhelmingly, I was told that's not what witchcraft is about, but I'm a strong believer in the power of naive enthusiasm, and perhaps with a little divine intervention, we managed to capture some truly unique magical practices from around the world. And personally, I've gained a much deeper respect for the power of spiritual belief, and I doubt you'll find me going looking for a curse again. So yes, that's from Liam. So that might help you decide, is a cursed man for you? Right? As I said, it's out on the 25th. So people, go enjoy A Cursed Man.